But his point. 1 minute, man.
Bro,
his point
man,
not true
no,
because
not 1
he's
minute.
mixed race. But the guy's mixed race.
You know what it is? No. You want to interrupt an African talking about Africa.
Oh,
that's what you want to do.
Sake.
Let him talk then.
Let him talk, man.
What the fuck you interrupting him for?
A minute ago, you lot was asking me to speak.
Yeah. No, I'm saying.
Anyway, I'm going on mute.
No. Yeah, go on mute. Sorry.
Go on,
it's all well and good for people to have their perceptions, right? I'm talking from a perspective of being born and raised in the movement, yeah, whereby these conversations happen and dark skin is celebrated. There's a context for the celebration of dark skin. Many of us, especially coming out of the Caribbean experience, yeah, that you have societies all throughout the Americas whereby stratification of status, social and economic mobility was often afforded to you because of lighter skin, because lighter skin was representative of having white ancestry. Yeah, this was literally systematically in place like Jamaica and Brazil and Cuba and other places. Yeah, and so the Pan-Africanists or anybody who's coming to challenge that kind of system, what's it called, standardized dark skin and celebrated dark skin. Yeah, to readdress that balance and put emphasis on the celebration of things that were African rather than European.
But listen, is that not based on the assumption that the original man was the darkest motherfuckers on the planet?
Not necessarily.
Right?
Not necessarily.
Okay. Listen. From my perspective, I probably grew up with this kind of belief that the original African was a very, very dark-skinned person, right? And obviously, as I've got older, I've come to realization that all of these shades were within our collective, and there's no telling whether it was the darker or the lighter person that was born. We've now come away from this theory that as we traveled away from the equator, our skin got lighter and all that shit. We've broken out of that paradigm. So I kind of still associate the darkest African type of thing with that kind of notion, if you see where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I'm saying that it may be the case that reasoning factored into the argument at some points and at different points. What I'm saying is that the valorization and the celebration of dark skin has a context. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? It's not about for example, a man like Marcus Garvey says that we should embrace all shades of the race within the race. Yeah.
Okay.
But he also the movement that he led also celebrated dark skin. Yeah.
Okay, but why? Because what if dark skin wasn't our own? Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
I was about to say the exact same thing. Yeah.
Like, if dark skin isn't, for instance, archetype.
I think I've already said.
I
think I've already said. First of all, there's many of us, whether because we're conflating time periods as though like the darkest. Sorry,
people were further back in history. Yeah.
No, yeah, but so let's maybe that is or is not the case. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
No, but the celebration of the dark skin would be playing towards that fact that we're celebrating our original state,
not
right?
necessarily. Yeah, but our original state is not necessarily what we perceived the original Homo sapien to be. Our original state is what state we have been in over an extended period of time. So it could let's say we started the counting from the year 1000 according to the Gregorian calendar, right? Within that period of time, we've gone through a process whereby, well, we've developed a thing whereby many of us come from very dark complexions, yeah, people who are very dark in complexion, okay, and then we go through a process in which a system that privileges and empowers lighter skin complexion over darker skin complexion is imposed, and so then we say, well, actually, but in order to get rid of that white lighter skin mentality, we're celebrating the darkest among us, yeah. So and everything else is going to be validated.
If I can go next, yeah.
Darkest among us. That's so yeah. It's not what I'm saying is it's not necessarily based upon what we perceive to be the original Homo sapien or whatever.
I hear you.
Can I say something quickly?
Yeah, go on,
yeah.
go on, Raheem.
So I find it interesting that what you said, and it does kind of make sense. But I think when you talk about systems where darker skin has been vilified, it's not just darker skin that's been vilified. Light skin has been has been vilified as well. Black people as a whole have been vilified. So why is it we celebrate the dark skin instead of all black as a whole in the Pan-African movement? That would make more sense than saying, all right, we're all accepted, we're all beautiful people, but let's boost up because what it comes across as, now it may not be intentional, is let's boost up the darker skin above everybody else because of your perception that you've all been vilified more because of darker skin.
Nobody said above everybody else. I'm
To celebrate means celebrate means that one is more, it's a moment of importance. So you are equating a moment of importance to a specific group of people.
When in the context of challenging the indoctrination of white supremacy, generations of us have been raised and indoctrinated into a mentality that celebrates light skin because it is a symbol of whiteness. It becomes necessary to celebrate dark skin. And as a caramel complected African, I have never felt inadequate because of my skin complexion being raised in an environment that does that. I don't think
the point is about your feelings of inadequacy or
it's
adequacy.
Not my feelings.
I think
you're asking about the movement.
I think the point is, yeah, exactly. But you keep mentioning your feelings. So my point is that if you are celebrating one above the other instead of the whole collective, you are nigh on mirror imaging what the other thing you're trying to destroy is doing.
Blackness is celebrated in general. Yes, I am not less celebrated